stretching a little bit, getting ready. All right, you guys, we are going to start talking about the Grand Swiss in Riga. So now, as everybody know, well, I guess I'll start with my spot first. As everybody knows, Latvia has had a huge spike in COVID cases. The government has decided to shut down the country due to that. And I said earlier, I will already say it again. I've decided that I'm not participating in this event. First and foremost, because on principle, it's completely wrong to me. It does not make sense trying to hold an event when, meanwhile, there are people who are struggling. The country is struggling. So I'm not playing. Also, there is a lockdown going on as well, so it's going to be a very miserable experience for anybody who is there. So that's the first thing that I will say very clearly, is that I will not be participating. So let's get to the tweets. The Latvian government has confirmed that international top-level sports events are allowed to be held during the month-long lockdown that was announced earlier this week. The 2021 FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss tournament and Women's Grand Swiss will go ahead as planned. All right, so this was the initial tweet by FIDE. This was sent out very early this morning. You see 4:35 a.m. local, so about 5 hours ago. All right, let's move on. What's the next tweet we have to cover? Grand Swiss in Riga, or sorry, actually, let me adjust this a little bit. Let me adjust why is it not showing? Pull it up. There we go. Okay, so here we go. All right. This is a post from Emil Chess. Grand Swiss in Riga is on. There's always a risk, but it isn't more dangerous than anywhere else. Outside contacts to be limited. I find a respect for locals discourse misplaced as Latvian government supports the event. FIDE and local team work 24/7 to ensure great event. Welcome. All right. First of all, Latvian government is locking down the country, and it's going to cost them about $200 million, according to an article that I read on Reuters. So when he talks about talks about it not being more dangerous or not a respect for locals, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Also, this is ridiculous. There's always a risk, but it isn't more dangerous than anywhere else. Well, there are plenty of countries. There are plenty of countries where especially like in Scandinavia, where I think COVID is very minimal at this point. So when Emil puts out this tweet saying there's always a risk, but it isn't more dangerous than anywhere else, that's just ignorant. And he's just an idiot for saying that, frankly. Reading one article doesn't exactly make you an expert. Oh, I never said I'm an expert on the topic at all. I never said that. But what I'm saying is that it is far more dangerous. It is far more dangerous there than everywhere else. You just look at the infection numbers, plain and simple. All right, let's read some of the replies. What do we have in the way of replies? Maria Emilianova here writes, "Hey Emil, thanks for the update. Do you anticipate players having trouble getting from Riga to European Team Championship in Slovenia, which starts 3 days after the Grand Swiss? Is FIDE prepared to assist us, since Latvia will likely go on a red list for Slovenia and Croatia, going via Zagreb?" Also, very, very legitimate tweet. Emil says, "Oh, what is this? I think, as your own experience proves, we always assist and resolve all sorts of issues that became so common since March 2020. We can't provide a guarantee, but we'll do our utmost." Okay. I mean, this is hilarious. So basically, I just put it in context for people who are wondering. There is a team tournament, so it's similar to playing the Olympiad, or like there's like a continental tournament for teams from the U.S. and from North America, South America, and so forth. There's a European team tournament which starts in Slovenia 3 days after this event. There are definitely players who are in the top four for their respective countries who are going to be competing in that event, and this is a very legitimate question. And it seems to me that there's no guarantee whatsoever. I think saying that they will assist and resolve all sorts of issues is pretty comical too. This is chess, after all. This is chess. This is not, this is chess, and this is FIDE. Frankly, FIDE is a very small organization. Chess is a relatively niche game, sport, whatever you want to call it. So thinking that they can somehow override all governments, or they can resolve all these issues, is just pretty amusing to hear, because that's just not how it goes. Anyway, let's keep scrolling. What do we have? We have a reply here. "It isn't more dangerous than anywhere else, LOL." Latvia has announced a month-long COVID-19 lockdown after an unprecedented surge in infections, becoming the first country in Europe to reimpose far-reaching restrictions amid a new wave of cases in countries across the continent. Wow. Okay. Exactly. It's no more dangerous there than it is anywhere else. Okay, and what does Emil write here? Now he writes, if you don't have players contacting local restaurant shops, traveling by public transport, etc., then it is in fact less risk than in a country with say 20% less of infected population, but no restrictions. Well, it's great to see that Emil is now a doctor as well, and he knows what is best. All right, dude. Yeah, this is just hilarious. Yeah, yeah, it just gets better and better. Um, yeah. There's always a risk, but it isn't more dangerous than anywhere else. Of course, it is more dangerous in Riga than in other places. The number of infections in the region matter. The risk varies. That is completely obvious, and it's sad that you can't even acknowledge that. Yeah. Well, what to say? What to say? What to say? So that's the second tweet that I want to cover. Is this part of it as well, or is this a separate tweet? Oh, we have another part of we have another tweet from Dr. Emil. Try applying logic before copy pasting news about COVID in Latvia. Lockdown means you don't have chess players visiting restaurants, shops, traveling by public transport. It is in fact less risk. Oh, we read this already, but because it's just a reply. But it is in fact less risk than a country with say 20% less of infected population, but no restrictions. All right, let's keep scrolling. Peter Heine Nielsen writes, Emil, what's wrong with you? You used to be a sane person. This is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. What's wrong with you? You used to be a sane person. Nice. That's like the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm sorry. I have to like that. Sorry. I have to give that a like. That's great. So what do we have? So that's 3 out of 8 candidate spots tainted now, with no doubt lots of players either withdrawing or playing under undue pressure. It is abundantly clear fair sport isn't anywhere to be found on the decision tree. Also, I like this other tweet by Himanshir. It says, didn't know COVID spread was only restricted to restaurants, shops, and travel by public transport. Nice. That's a good one. Yeah, exactly, because that's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. He's saying it's only if you go to like restaurants and shops, you literally go outside. That's all it is. All right, what do we have here? Is this logic of yours backed by data? Have there been experiments run and published on the risks of moving 200 plus people, players, coaches, arbiters, cooks within a high risk zone? Or is it a pure assumption made by FIDE, who I believe has no scientific expertise? Talk about getting rolled again. Wow. Yeah, very true, by the way. Very, very true. Very true. Yeah, so that's the second one. I mean, yeah. What is this? The only funny part about this is he copy and pasted this in all of his replies on the other posts without applying logic. I think the main cause of these decisions is that with no real competition, FIDE doesn't have to worry about PR or keeping players happy. Also true. Also, oh, look at this reply. Look at this reply. You are 100% going to have chess players visiting restaurants and shops. This is just so good. This is just so good. Yeah. Oh, right. Here's a good reply too. Yes. Rather than trusting the news and local governments, I will put full faith into the 20% rule indoctrinated by Emil and fully backed by scientific research. Very logical. Wowzers. Yeah. What can I say? That's I mean, what am I supposed to say? Okay. This is just this is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I will add though, keep in mind, there is something else that I will be showing a little bit later related to the direct post that was made. So when he says that people are gonna have to be in certain areas, there is something that I will say later on. All right. Okay, let's go. What is the next tweet we have? We have this one from Vidit Chess. Tweet from Vidit. After contemplating on the current situation in Latvia for the past few days, I have decided to withdraw from the tournament. There is a lot of uncertainty and health is the first priority. I hope that Latvia overcomes this wave soon. All right. So what do we see here? We see, haven't they canceled the tournament from their end? No, it's happening. A bubble-like situation is proposed. Okay, so actually this is important. So you see some people say they say that a bubble-like situation is happening. That is not going to be the case, and I will show you something a little bit later. specifically related to that. So yeah, it's like pretty insane. Yeah, pretty insane all around. What can I say? Okay, let's keep going. We have one more tweet that we're going to cover on this topic. This is from Fiona Stale Antoni. While I was very much looking forward to going to Riga and working at the Grand Swiss, I too feel hesitant about traveling to the country with the highest COVID incidence in the world and potentially putting their already very strained healthcare system under even more pressure. So this is a reply from Fiona to Vidit. Yeah, I mean, I think you know, at the end of the day, there are many people who have big concerns about all of this, and they're not happy with what's going on. But the thing is, the power structure is such that people still want to play chess. They still want to make money, and so FIDE is able to basically boss around the players and make these decisions that are not correct, is what I would say. So those are the tweets I wanted to cover. Now I'm going to read something to you guys next. I'm gonna read you guys one other thing. Just and this will probably I'm almost certain that I won't be able to see posts in the future because of this, but again, I think it's fair to say this. So let me show you guys. I'm not going to show you guys this, but I'll just read it. Okay, so this is a tweet or not a tweet. Sorry, this is a Facebook post from Emil Satovsky. It was originally in Russian, but I'm going to read out what he said. This is what the Google Translate, because this is what everybody wants to see. Okay, and this was a tweet. It says, so in detail about Riga. Grand Swiss will take place in the capital of Latvia. All permits received, the organizational protocol approved. Players will not be obliged to play masks. They will not be locked up in a hotel. Now, keep in mind, this is what Emil said. He said they will be not locked up in a hotel. So when we go back and we revisit what Emil said about, players won't be able to take public transit. They won't be able to go out eat. They won't be able to do any of this stuff. His Facebook post directly contradicts that, because he basically says players will not be locked up in a hotel. So he completely contradicts himself, and he invalidates exactly what he tweeted by saying this. So when he says like players won't be going out, but then he says they will not be locked up in a hotel. I mean, sorry, but dude, you can't have it both ways. All right. So he says city traffic is limited after 8 p.m. But if the party is delayed, then of course it is possible to return to the hotel. It is a 10-minute walk or by tournament transport. Yet again, he's saying that you can walk or you can take transport. So we revisit what he said before about how players won't be taking public transport. They won't be going to restaurants. I mean, he's completely wrong. So that's what he says. Planning to shift the start of the tours to start at 1400 and highly likely to allow players to walk and breathe fresh air after the party. Food at the hotel, contacts between participants as usual at tournaments. But yes, almost all stores are closed. However, almost any order will be possible through the organizers. Is it hard? Yes. But if you slightly get rid of emotions in terms of health, it is paradoxically less dangerous than in the country without any quarantine. So once again, this is another great statement here. So basically what Emil is saying here, mind you, this is a translation, so certain parts could be a little bit different, but he says, if you get rid of the emotions in terms of health, it is less dangerous. It is less dangerous than the country without any quarantine. Yet again, another statement that makes absolutely no sense. He says, restrictions are discomfort, yes, but in general, they are quite small. Okay. Yet again, showing complete lack of understanding. Of course, it's always easier to cancel, complain about how unlucky we are to minimize any risk. But no, we believe holding a tournament in Riga is no more dangerous than anywhere. And yes, FIDE and Latvian organizers are ready to work on 24/7 to hold a high-level tournament. Come on over. We're waiting for you. All right. So yeah, this is where I revisit Peter Heine Nielsen's comment, where he says, where exactly someone said, "What happened to you? You were a sane person." So yeah, that's. I mean, I think that says it all in terms of in terms of what Emil said. Plain and simple is that, yeah, he's trying on publicly, he's trying to say one thing, but privately, it's very clear that he thinks it basically is not serious whatsoever. He basically thinks, oh yeah, it's just emotions. It's all just emotions. That's all it is. So yeah. For those of you guys who are watching, you know, people like, you know, Vidit or Hans, like, you know, I mean, or Hans specifically has Vidit with Drew, like, good luck, you know, stay safe and hopefully everything's fine. But it's very clear to me that FIDE, their attitude is that, you know what, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Who cares? However, I will say, if somebody gets really sick, or somebody God forbid they die from COVID during the tournament, FIDE is going to go bankrupt because they'll get sued and they'll lose, because they're holding a tournament where there's a lockdown where COVID is rampant. And if that happens, FIDE can just go bye-bye. They'll be totally toast and finished forever. So that's what I would say. All right, what else do we have on this topic? I think there are a couple other things that I want to cover. Mind you, that is a translation, so some of the words might be a little bit different, but that's what we have. There's also some other stuff I wanted to cover. Let me see. We have the medical statement. So there are two things that I'm gonna talk about as well in terms of why I withdrew. So one other thing was, there was an email that was sent out. Well, I'm not gonna show this on stream, obviously, but I will open this on my other monitor. I guess I have to be very careful not to leak this, because of course you do get banned if you leak that. So we have this. It says what it says is it says, okay, we would like to inform you that FIDE and the organizers have managed to agree with the Latvian officials for an exemption for the Grand Swiss and Women's Grand Swiss, and the event will take place as planned. We expect the decision on the exemption to be officially published by the Latvian government on 21st of October, when FIDE will also issue an official statement. We call upon all participants to continue with their regular plans regarding their trip to Riga. We strongly encourage you to read the health protocol outlining the rules and restrictions regarding travel to Latvia, as well as the measures during the event at the venue and the hotel. The update of the document will also be provided by October 22nd. Okay, so very, very generic here. Very generic, nothing crazy. But I will scroll down. What they do say is the reason I say October 22nd is because I'll go to another paragraph in this, which says FIDE and the organizers would like to assure players and participants that we are doing our best to host the event in Riga and hope that it will still be memorable in the best way possible under the current circumstances. However, we understand that players decide to withdraw from the tournament. In that case, we kindly ask you to inform us by October 22nd, 2021, so that any sanctions on withdrawal are avoided. The health statement is public. Okay, let me okay, so what they say there is they basically, well, yeah, sure, you have to basically agree to play the tournament, or I saw Discord. I saw it. But basically what they say is they say that players have to agree to play the tournament before you know for sure what the health protocols are, since those are going to be released on October 22nd. Now, mind you, they released them in advance, but this email was sent about 12 hours ago. That being said, let's pull up the health protocol. All right. And this, by the way, has nothing to do with the vaccine specifically, but let's just pull this up. All right, we have important health update. Okay, we have these 10. All right, the protocol covers the following sections. Special conditions under the emergency status in Latvia, travel to Latvia, transport, accommodation, safety precautions, symptoms of COVID-19 testing, tournament hall, spectator and access zones, response in COVID-19 positive cases, general regulations. All right, so what do they say? They say, what is this? Please be informed that the period of let me see if there's something specific I should read. Please be informed that in the period from 21 October to November 14th, an emergency status in the Republic of Latvia has been introduced with an aim to radically restrict further expansion of the pandemic. Besides all the other preventative measures and restrictions introduced, all sport events are banned, except for high-level tournaments and official training sessions prior to them that have been included in the calendar of the International Sports Federation, in Grand Swiss case FIDE, and are listed as eligible on the official webpage of the Ministry of Education and Science, the Republic of Latvia. Both respective events are listed here. All right. Okay, during this period, the curfew will be observed from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's fine. I mean, I don't want to read the whole thing. What else do they say? The player, oh, right. They also, page 4 is where I'm supposed to go to. Okay, so page 4 is where all the juice is. The substantial reason for your visit work. Within 24 hours upon arriving to Latvia, the players and other accredited persons of the international sports event are obliged to undergo laboratory testing for the diagnosis of COVID-19. If they arrive by plane from countries outside the Schengen area, see arrivals, or by crossing the external land border, they may be asked to undergo laboratory testing for the diagnosis of COVID-19 at the closest testing site at the airport. I can show this. Yes, this is on the FIDE website. This is not an email. This is officially on the FIDE website. Okay, all right. So yeah, obligatory testing of all the players and accredited persons will be provided at the official hotel of the tournament. At the AC Hotel Riga Marriott on the arrival day, 25th October. You know what's funny, you guys? This is the AC Hotel in Riga. The AC Hotel Riga and Marriott, that is where I stayed when I played the FIDE Grand Prix FIDE Grand Prix event in 20, I think it was 2018, maybe it was 2019. In Riga, I stayed in this hotel, so I'm actually very familiar with the site, with this location and the hotel. And I will tell you this: it's a pretty small hotel. It's not very big, and 200 players being stuck in that hotel. If anybody gets COVID, it's gonna spread. It will definitely spread. Actually, you guys, I did a stream from that hotel. In 2019, I did a stream from that AC Marriott in Riga when I played in Arena Kings, I think. So that's also worth noting. Okay. All right. The cost of PCR test and obligatory test carried upon the border, performed by the organizer for the player. Okay, pretty normal, nothing too crazy. It says, okay, all the accredited persons immediately after arriving at the hotel will have to sign certification that they will comply with all the current restrictions that the Republic of Latvia imposed for the prevention of the spread of COVID-19 infection, including observe the curfew hours and keeping physical distancing from persons not being part of the tournament environment, i.e. not being accredited to the tournament. So, okay, so then what they're saying is, okay, if we look at this versus what Emil said, he's actually, again, completely wrong, because now they're trying to say that it will be a bubble and you have to stay at the hotel, whereas Emil in his private post on Facebook says players can do whatever they want to do. Okay. Okay, let's see. The person will take care of their medical costs. Wow, the organizers strongly recommend that players and other accredited persons provide themselves with medical insurance. However, the organizers will provide full cooperation and assistance to provide appropriate medical care upon necessity. So I would also say, in terms of this is also completely crazy. Completely crazy, because they're saying it's on the players. So they will not cover costs. So if somebody goes to Latvia, they end up getting really sick and they have to go to the hospital. It's on you. It's on you guys. We're not going to do anything. We're just sending you all to this location to play in a place that's riddled with COVID. But hey, if you get sick, it's not our fault, even though we forced this tournament to happen there. So this is completely insane as well, especially because I suspect that a lot of insurers would be like, wait, why are we providing you insurance if you're willingly and knowingly going somewhere where COVID is raging? Ridiculous. Person will not use the public transport and will only use the vehicle insured by the organizer of the event to get to the playing venue and back to the official hotel. The player will monitor their health and immediately inform the organizer on symptoms. Okay, yeah, this is just nuts. Just absolutely nuts. Okay, I was told I need to read page 5 as well. Or actually, sorry, no, this is all kind of the same. Yeah, this is just insane. Just insane. Completely insane all around. They're trying to make a bubble. Good luck with that. Well, I mean, players are going to want to go outside the hotel. They'll want to go out. Actually, you know what's funny? Now that I know the exact hotel and where the location is, I know right off, just recalling from 2019 when I was there, there are at least 10 restaurants within a 10, not even 10 minutes, within like 5 minutes walking. There are at least 10 good restaurants within 5 minutes walking from that hotel. Because I remember when I was there in 2019, I would just walk right up the street, and there were like 3 or 4 restaurants right there. So yeah, it's I mean, there's no way. There's no way that they're going to keep people from going out and ordering food and doing all sorts of stuff. So that's what I would say. Would I play if I truly was going to maintain a bubble? The only way I would ever consider that, Mandal, is if all the players were vaccinated. If there was a hard requirement that all the players had to be vaccinated, I probably would. But FIDE is not requiring that. And I'm sure there are players who are not going to be who are not going to be vaccinated. 100%. That's not even a question. So it is what it is. But that's the it's not required. No, it's not required. You do not. You're not required to be vaccinated. So that's what I would say. You think it's required? You're saying it's required to be vaccinated? You're saying that where does it say that you have to be vaccinated to enter the country? It just says you have to get a test. It says if you have a test, you can enter. If you have a test, you can enter, I believe. Okay. Proof. Okay. Yeah. Proof. Okay. You guys want to see it? Proof of health or vaccination. Okay. You can have a valid in European Union interoperable COVID-19 certificate of vaccination, which means you've had a recovery, or a negative PCR test within 72 hours before boarding the plane or entering Latvia. So if you have a negative test within 72 hours, you can go. You do not have to be vaccinated. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing is no, I mean, it's right here on page 2. It says a negative PCR test. If you have a negative PCR test, you can go. You do not have to be vaccinated. So yeah, I mean it's a mess. Nobody's forcing people to go. The only problem is FIDE is forcing people to go because a lot of players are not in a situation where they can stand out. Most players need to play chess. Most players want to make a living playing the game, trying to qualify for the Canada's tournament. So no, FIDE is basically, basically wielding the power and forcing the players who in most cases are not able to say no, we were uncomfortable, to play. That's what's happening. Most players can't basically say no, we're not okay with this because of their situation financially or otherwise, plain and simple. That's the reason. FIDE is just being, they're just wielding their power, and they're unwilling to listen to people. That's what it's all about. It's all about that, and it's about money. The fact that they probably lose some amount of money if they don't hold the event. Plain and simple. I think it does not say they're having continual testing. It says that if I don't believe it says that. I'm pretty sure it says or no, maybe it does say they are. What are they saying? They're saying November 6th, 7th, 9th. So they have one test on they're trying to say they test people when they get there or something. So they're testing every 3 days, it looks like. So they're trying to do it. But again, here's the other problem. What happens when people come down with it? Are people just suddenly forfeited? How do you have a tournament where you have qualifiers for the Canada's tournament, one of the most important tournaments in the world, as it's a qualifier for potentially playing in the world? No, it is a qualifier for playing in the World Championship. So you're trying to qualify for the World Championship, and now if a player gets sick in the middle, no, bye bye. It's not okay. You don't get to play the tournament anymore. So I would say from a fair play standpoint as well, it's completely wrong too. Because if somebody gets it, I mean, it's hard to believe someone won't get it. It's hard to believe there won't also maybe be false positives. Like, you should hold a tournament under fair conditions for everybody, where everybody's playing on the same level, where everyone's playing on the same field, and that doesn't seem like that's the case here. So it's very disappointing. And when you compare this versus what Emil said privately, where he acts like it's all a big joke, it's just someone like that should not be in a position of power making these decisions, frankly, is how I feel. No, it's not going to be postponed because FIDE refuses to take a loss financially and just postpone it to like a month down the road. That's the reason. That's just the reason. When will be the last one to test positive? Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's all terrible. That's what I'm gonna say. It's all very bad, and I mean, FIDE should be ashamed of themselves. They really should be. They should be ashamed of themselves for forcing this event through, and making it difficult for players, for certain players to participate, first of all, and then additionally, just like common sense. Postponement would have been sensible, but someone's going to lose money because of the postponement, and that's not okay. So, frankly, screw COVID. It doesn't matter. We're going to hold the event. That's all it's about. And chess is not essential, you guys. There's some backdoor deal that was made for the event, and that's what it is. But the bottom line is all about the money and the fact that someone would lose money. So that's why they refuse to postpone it. Plain and simple. I'll say it because it's true. All right. Anyway, yeah, the whole thing though is disappointing. For this reason, I'm not playing, as I said earlier, and yeah, chess is essential. Yeah, chess is really essential, isn't it? Really, really essential. So that's my bit about it. Very, very, very disappointing at any rate. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I mean, it's shame on them, plain and simple. That's all I have to say. Very, 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 very. I don't even know what the words are. I don't even know what the words are for it. But it's just a shame because I mean, I really wish that chess players as a whole could stand up and tell FIDE that no, you're wrong on this, and you should just postpone it for 1 month. That's what I would say. It's very sad that there aren't organizations for chess players to sort of get together to make these decisions to prevent it from happening. That's the thing that's actually the thing that I find most disappointing is at the end of the day, I am a chess player. I do love the game of chess, and I've played chess for so long. I've gone through all the different levels. Starting from a kid playing up to making the norms, playing tournaments, trying to improve the elo, make a little bits of money here and there. Break through the top 10. And I really do feel bad for the players who are like 2600, 2650, who they probably feel very uncomfortable about it. Who knows psychologically how it's going to affect their play, that they basically don't have a choice. Like they can't say no. I mean, I feel really bad for those players who are probably very uncomfortable, but they can't really say anything because FIDE is just going to be like, well, who are you? Nobody cares. We're just going to do what we're going to do no matter what. So that's the thing that actually disappoints me the most about this is that there's no there just aren't any organizations, or you don't have chess players being able to get together and force FIDE to have the event, you know, down the road like they should be. So that's just my little bit. I don't really want to keep going with any of this, but as I said before, I'm not playing in it. And can't FIDE get sued if there's a worst case scenario happens? Yes, if somebody gets really sick or somebody dies, FIDE should get sued and go bankrupt, and that would be the logical conclusion. And yeah, I mean, like I said, there's always the risk reward. Like I said, even with the World Cup, what's the risk reward of running versus not running? But yeah, that what I would say is plain and simple that at the end of the day, I think I think the risk in this case is very, very high. Even if someone tests positive, who all will they quarantine? Right. So like, what happens is if somebody gets COVID. If somebody gets COVID, let's say they play 3 rounds, because I think the testing's after 3 rounds. Say you play 3 rounds and test positive, then the 3 opponents that you played, what happens to them? Do they get to still play? I mean, do they get to play? No, because if you actually follow the rules, the 3 players, then they also get disqualified. They can't play the tournament either, so they get cheated out of their opportunity as well. So like, they better pray. I mean, they better pray that nobody gets it. Because if anybody gets it, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's just it. So it's what it is. Magnus should speak up. I mean, Magnus isn't participating in this tournament. I don't think it's really on him whatsoever to do this. How did they get permissions? I mean, like I said, there's probably some deal. Some deal was made. I mean, what do you expect? It's all politics at the end of the day. I mean, come on, you guys know how this works. Don't be naive. But anyway, yeah. Over under for COVID infections 30%. Well, like I said, you guys, I said this before. Officially, I think there was only one player who played in the World Cup who tested positive for COVID, but the actual number was more than one person. There's only one person officially who tested positive, but that was not the actual number at the end of the day. So that's what I would say, to be clear. So who knows? If one person tests positive, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, this is just, I mean, it's insane. It's disappointing. Chess should be better than this, but what to do? And separately, what I would say is when people want to do you think it's possible for FIDE to convince Slovenia to allow a bunch of chess players who spent 3 weeks in Latvia to travel there 3 days later? No, I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think so. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I again, it's crazy. You literally, FIDE could just postpone the event for maybe for 1 month, hold it somewhere else, maybe Russia, maybe somewhere else in Europe, where it's not an issue. But no, instead we must make this happen. And again,